So here's how to easily save seeds from any wet seeds. For example, anything that has pulp on it, like our wild Everglades tomatoes. But you can use the same process for any type of squash, for example, anything that has some pulp around the seeds. So first step is to make sure that you have a really nice ripe tomato. And in the case of this particular tomato, what I do is I take off this little stem just to open up to break the skin so that the seeds don't end up squirting back in your face. And it's so simple, I just squeeze them into a glass. And then I keep this little, the skins and things because they make a wonderful flavor. It's almost like tomato paste. So I'll throw this into tonight's dinner. Another way, a faster way, is if you have quite a few to save from, like myself here, you can just pop them all into, I use a mortar and pestle, but you could use a bowl and a fork, and I just cover and I'm mashing. So I'm just helping to split the skins so that all of the seeds can be exposed. And once you have everything nice and mashed up, then what I do is I add just a little bit of water. Rinse off the pestle so we don't waste any seeds. And then I'm just going to add this to my glass. So nothing fancy about it. It could be a glass, it can be a bowl, just a place where you can allow these seeds and pulp to ferment. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put just some type of a top. I usually just put a piece of paper towel and a rubber band. And then the most important part, mark what you have. So these are wild Everglades. And then what we're going to do is allow this just to sit and ferment for 2 to 3 days. What you're going to start to see is there's going to be some bubbling in here, and it's going to be very clear that the seeds that are viable are going to sink to the bottom, and the pulp is going to separate into the top, and then there'll be a clear space in between. And that's a really easy, passive way to be able to ferment your seeds, to be able to separate the pulp from the seed. And so we're just going to let this sit for 2 to 3 days. I usually give it just a little swirl once a day, and that's it. And then we'll check back in a couple days. And so now this is 3 days later. I usually ferment for 1 to 3 days. And you can see all the pulp has risen to the top and the seeds have sunk to the bottom. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scoop off this top layer and then pour this through a screen so that we can dry the seeds. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and scoop out this top pulp and just throw it in the compost bucket. And now you can see we have mostly seeds left. And then I'm going to take a screen. I use a screen like this. You can use any type of a fine mesh, but this is what I use for seeds. And now I just pour this through. Nice and slowly. And now you can see we have this nice screen. So what I do is I turn the water on low and I put a sprayer and I just spray the seeds to get them into a single layer on this screen for drying. And now I'm just going to put this out to dry until they're totally dry. And once they're dry, you can store them just like you would any other seed. And now I've let these dry for a few days, and here is the finished product. And so now we have all kinds of wild Everglades tomato seeds that we can save for next season. Hope that was helpful. And you haven't really earned your stripes until you've shot yourself at least once in the face or on your clothes when you're saving seeds.